Hi, welcome to our channel. We're trying something new. So this time I'll be like looking at the camera and hopefully his voice doesn't like fade in and out and actually picks up his voice properly since he's like behind the camera and I'm not looking awkwardly everywhere. Episode 6. I have no clue what topic we're going to talk about today. And silence. I'm going to be editing that out. Everything is over a minute or a second.
It's perfectly timed.
So I guess we could talk about, especially all the stuff that you've been having issues with. Which
We're going to pin it on me today.
Yeah, I've already cried multiple times.
Right on time.
No, don't hit the camera. Come here. Up. Girl. Up.
She knows she ain't supposed to be on these chairs.
It's okay.
You say that now until she doesn't listen to you.
It's okay.
There's your thumbnail. Pit bulls. No such space but their space.
That's in it.
Absolutely no boundaries.
Every episode you're going to come in.
On a cuddle missile, get a pit bull.
I know, I'm still working on that t-shirt. So still come support the channel. Go to toastycandy.com.
And plugs.
I was going to say, like maybe thinking about the mental health and the stresses.
Oh, today's bad. Today's really bad.
I thought yesterday was bad, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but yesterday I was relatively functional until I couldn't stay awake anymore, and then I passed out due to stress. So this is something I'm learning that's interesting. Yeah,
I
like
was just saying, as you're yawning right now.
Oh.
And that's the thing, is like, okay, so you even pulled up. You didn't
Well-
use, I'm going to call ChatGPT right now. See if I could, my AI would be Luna. But anyways, you didn't use ChatGPT, you used Google's Gemini.
Yeah, the sensitive one.
Is it sensitive?
Restrictions and boundaries, you have to be very clever in how you're trying to word stuff if you're to go down very risque topics to get any kind of content, be it educational, be it confrontational, whatever. That's all I'm going to say on Gemini.
Okay.
That being said, go ahead and gloat.
I'm not gloating. Oh my
yes,
gosh.
you are.
It's just basically you went on and was just like, I'm going to validate what I already know. So
Here it comes.
No, just say.
They can't see me rolling my hands. Get on with it.
You asked Gemini like something about, okay, I can't sleep, or I'm sleeping, but I'm not getting restful sleep. And it basically gave its response. And obviously you never want to use AI as your doctor or like any kind of medical advice or anything like that. But it basically gave you the information that you already know.
I was being sarcastic, and I gave it to you laughing because it almost verbatim says the same thing you say. And I was thinking in my head, great, married to an AI chick.
Yeah, 'cause I like AI. It makes, obviously that's a whole other topic in itself, where there's people that are for it, there's people that are against it, there's people that are afraid of it, there's people that are making millions off of it. There's definitely multiple different views on it. I remember there was a talk, I can't remember what company, it was when I was working, when I had a job. We had a guest and they are an AI company. The topic, basically one of the members in the audience asked a question, and the question was definitely fear-based because they were like, all the AI is going to take all our jobs, because it was at a technical type speech or whatever. And the lady responded, it was actually very beautifully said, because she basically was like, before her current role, which was actually like an AI content writer, the information behind the AI, whenever people have responses, they're basically the ones writing those codes, writing the information, writing the responses. She basically was like, before she got that job, she didn't understand AI. She was definitely fearful of it. And a lot of times the fear of AI is because of not understanding it. I think that applies for anything. When you don't understand something, you're fearful of it.
And that has to deal with me feeling the way I'm feeling.
I don't know.
Completely lost track.
That's why it's unscripted, our unscripted moments, okay? That's why there's no script,
All right.
it's just whatever's.
You asked what was going on with me.
Yeah, with
Spill my tea.
mental health, the burnout, and just like thinking of like ways of obviously.
Have a tea moment. Yes, I did hand gestures. Tea. Carol. All right, so one thing I'm learning in my early 40s, because I ain't halfway over there yet, I'm still in my earlies. You can quickly tell when you go from a career to having a job by the way you feel. I think that is the most clearest description I could give. Love what I do, love the industry I'm in, love the people that we cater to. Acquisitions suck. It's a hit and miss. It's never smooth, so don't ever fool yourself. Your company's going to go through an acquisition, whether you're the one buying and acquiring or if you're being bought and acquired. It will never go smooth. It is just the nature of the beast. That being said, 3.5 years into this acquisition, it's very difficult just to wake up, turn the computer on, go about your business, know you're great at what you do, know you're one of the more tenured, knowledgeable individuals, especially within your craft, in your area of expertise. And that's not just to pat myself on the back, like that's factually stated. There's not many of us in this niche market for which I operate in, but the point is it is a niche factor and it supports on a national scale. I don't travel nearly as much anymore. Where I thought the traveling would actually tire me out, it actually gives you a refresher because you're actually meeting with the people you actually cater to, do business with. But the minute you could tell that you've gone from a career to a job is when you start having problems waking up to get out of bed, when your body is so exhausted, even after a full night. Matter of fact, I took 3 full nights of sleep because we just came off a holiday and I did what I wanted to do. Physically tired for what I was doing because I was working on car stuff and projects, but mentally, not even tuned into work, completely turned that off. There are some advantages. Yes, I do get to work remote. Yes, I do get to work wherever I have internet connection. If I want to go into an office or travel to the headquarters, whatever, yes, I have the option to do that as well. But regardless of the travel, your phrasing, your words you tell yourself, and I've been thinking about this for quite some time because the kids have been calling me out on it. Teresa, you've been calling me out on it. When you start using phrases like, hey, how you doing? And your response to your coworkers is, still here. Another day. Yep, I showed up. Yeah, those are signs that you're in a job now. And it's difficult because, yes, our situation is still, per this recording, still the same. I'm the only one employed. Teresa, I'm doing everything I can to support you to make sure that, I don't know why I said your full name, my bad. But they know you, so as long as
Yeah,
they know that's fine.
my branding is me.
Branding is you. But I don't think a lot of men go into the factor of what they deal with for the men that are really trying to hold it down for the whole household. And I'm not saying like they're not out there, they are. I just don't think it's ever really talked about. Yes, I bottle everything up. But what I've noticed is that I've become so unbearable that I can no longer keep it bottled in. So what's the outcomes? People can say, like I say, F it, move on. It's true.
But the problem with that, and we've mentioned this in previous episodes, is it's the same thing with putting all the pressure in, bottling it up, like physical bottle. When you have all that pressure, it builds up. There's no place for that pressure to go except for out, and it ends up into an explosion. I'm not a scientific type person. Regardless, you're keeping everything in. Once all that pressure builds up and mounts, it does explode, and then who's the casualty that's around you?
Yeah, no, and that's why I say I'm aware of it because we've been practicing on it and working on it for so many years. But I don't think a lot of men actually get the fact that, yeah, a lot of times where it's just like you still push the point of collapse, which is what I'm doing right now. Obviously, the other day was pretty bad. And it's not physical, it's all mental. That's the crazy thing. A lot of people don't take in consideration on just how detrimental mental stress is versus physical stress and long-term stress. But you combine all three, man.
It'll wreak havoc on the body.
And which is doing it right now because I can't think clear, can't operate clear, and then just even sit at the computer to even make a phone call or even get out into the general public and to just talk amongst my constituents for whom I sell services
Basically to be on, like to have your personality, be upbeat. And it's the only thing I think of, to be actually like on.
For me to be an extrovert is saying something.
But I feel like you are an extrovert though. I don't think you're an
I'm
introvert. Okay, I was gonna say, I'm like, you're not an introvert at
So
all.
here's my point. I'm being more introverted now.
You're an extrovert with introverted tendencies.
I don't even want to do that.
Where you get charged. Extroverts get charged by being around other people.
Yeah, but it's the simple fact that I don't think it's ever really discussed what a lot of men go through is like where they just want to shut it down. Even when they themselves don't want to shut it down. They find themselves shutting it down. Stuff that used to bring them joy, don't find it anymore. And it's not a situation of I've moved on. I'm starting to realize more and more it's just the mental stress of it all.
Isn't that a form of depression though?
100%. I don't think that's where you got to start realizing, especially at my age, early 40s, you are starting to fall into that gap of, hey, ageism is a real thing. We're seeing it. I see it with my company right now. It's a lot easier to pay a 20-something-year-old fresh out of college who thinks they know something, knowing darn well they don't know much.
It's them. I guess maybe like they're able to be molded to that culture.
No, I definitely disagree with that. It's the fact that they can pay them less and they have nothing to stand on. It's I can get you in the industry. You can build from that. You could probably grow from that. But you're not worth that much. Your college degree, cool. You got the credential. What real world experience do you have, Mr. or Mrs. Little 20-year-old? And that's exploited with a lot of companies that I've worked with. And that's a factor. And then you get to a certain point with your age. If you have not made it into some kind of leadership, I never chose the leadership route. I liked what I do. I didn't care to lead others. I liked building up my book of business, growing it from there and having control. Because most of the time, management couldn't tell me anything. Because in my industries, you produce, you show results, they leave you alone. So you get some benefits and freedoms. But where the problem comes into is that when the processes of an acquisition take place, the additional stresses of being the husband, being the father, and trying to keep it all together, but work is making it so unbearable mentally, the foundation starts to collapse because if the body cannot regenerate, recuperate, and move forward, if the mind cannot stay clear and focused, then everything becomes a distraction. So it's not one of those things where it's, oh God, he's going to start completing no, it has nothing to do with that. It's just a simple process as a husband and as a grown man of trying to figure out what's the solution I need to get to. And to say, go find another job is one thing. Yeah, you could, but really, are you trying to find another job just to replace the current one you have? That's the key difference. Are you trying to get back into career mode and is 9 to 5 really meant for you? So you deal with a lot of conflicting emotions on that. At least I do. Because it's, yes, right now I need to hold it down financially for the household because we have a lot of responsibilities. Yes, there's stuff in the savings, like I said in past videos. Yeah, we're fine. But if you don't have to purposely put yourself in that situation, my mind struggles with, well, let's not tip that edge. Let's not go over that edge if we don't have to. If you also look at some of the things where like people that become very successful and everyone that we followed and everybody that we do talk to, mentor with, and take guidance from, they've all come to that same deciding factor. You gotta take that risk. Yeah. But they stuck it through and then it happens. Down the seat and try to, like you said, make toasty candy happen. And I'm not talking just for the YouTube. I'm talking in general, what the work is taking right now. I don't want to say what we're doing right now, but you've taken a huge leap forward in something you are not familiar with and connected with something that could be a possibility for something lucrative coming down the pipeline. And we'll just leave it at that. That was a huge step for you.
Yeah.
Take the leap of faith, go forward with that, still keep doing what you're doing, keep trying to do what I can do to keep it together, plus put the extra initiative. But like you said, it's getting to the point now where I am unbearable.
So from the wife's perspective, obviously, I'm still out there putting applications out, but at the same time also doing what I can with my toasty candy business. And like he mentioned, not to put our project that we have in the works out there just yet until we actually fully announce it, but there is a project that I spoke with the manufacturer and I've never done that before. So it definitely made me feel as though like a imposter, like, okay, I'm actually speaking with a large manufacturer for this product. And it was just having that leap of faith of going forward with it and just, we'll see how this goes and just keep pushing forward. But at the same time, to help him, especially even with the stresses around the house, I've been trying to make sure I'm caught up on the laundry, caught up with the dishes, making sure that I work with the budget and foods that we have and making sure that the kids are taken care of, make sure we're not missing anything on the event. So like from the wife and mother's perspective, I'm trying to do what I can within my powers and what I have available to be able to be supportive so that way he could just focus on work. But when work is starting to trickle into other aspects of home, especially it's challenging for him being working from home. And don't get me wrong, we're definitely grateful because there's a lot of benefits to working remote, but a lot of stress on the vehicles. It's not a lot of gas money. It's not a lot of commute time that's wasted. There's definitely a lot of benefits to it. But when the job now is a mental impact and then it's starting to be a physical impact.
It's like me going back to saying that I don't think, especially amongst my peers, like Opa, he's a very business savvy, career oriented, goal driven man. Old school Korean.
Which is why we call him Opa.
Like you can't believe the way he could go about doing what he does. Even at his worst, he tries to be at his best. And again, I'm in my 40s, so I'm blessed to have these men in my life that deal with me through thick and thin. Very different dynamics, and we're all talking about the same thing. The mental stresses for which we carry, if we're not talking about, which we do talk about, and that's my point I'm getting at, weighs heavy on a lot. So I sympathize for a lot of other men out there that do bottle up, hold it in. Yeah, I do bottle mine up. But I slowly try to release it, which is part of the reason why I guess we have in this conversation, because it's been bothering you. Again, going back to communication, I don't take offense to it. I get it.
this kind of goes into parenting, because if you think about it, for boys, I don't have a son, but for boys, they're always told, you got to toughen up, suck it up, cupcake.
And full disclosure on that, I too have also told you that if we didn't have our daughters, we had a boy, my parenting would be very different.
Yeah.
Even shout out to Joycey, love you guys. But even with them, Joycey's husband, you know, when he and I talk,
Happy belated birthday, by the way.
love you. But even when he and I talk, and even with you as wives, you both look at us like, how could you? And we both say the same thing. It's because he's a boy. And I'm not saying it's a healthy thing, but I'm not saying it's also not a healthy thing. But yes, you're right. That has been instilled in me, probably in the worst ways, due to the fact of the broken homes, divorces, the adoption, not having a steady male role model. So I didn't get it from a fatherly figure in a sense. I just got it from reputation from those that I saw that actually had father figures that I would.
See, the thing is, and I'm not downplaying or putting down like your childhood or how you were raised or anything like that, but the way children are raised is a key thing on how are they going to deal with stress? How do they become ambitious and go for their goals? How do they handle things when they're an adult? Which is part of the reason why, for at least for our daughters, I am trying to instill in them that whatever direction or whatever goal they want to accomplish, that we work towards those small steps. I want them to be ambitious. Obviously, I don't think they have the same level of as ambitious as me, because I'm a little bit psycho and I'm always all over the place. But I want to at least instill the basic foundation for them that, like, hey, sometimes it's not going to go your way. Sometimes there are going to be stressful moments. Hey, you're not going to be great at piano or great at martial arts the very first time you learn it. It's going to take practice. And if you want to accomplish this goal or this career or this lifestyle, you have to work towards it. And please don't take this as offense. This is just my observation. I feel like with your childhood, with all the things that you experienced, you weren't taught that. You weren't taught how to deal with stresses. You weren't taught how to, okay, this is the goal that you want to accomplish. I feel like...
No, you're spot on.
I also feel like you weren't expected, or they didn't see the potential in you to be able to be like, hey, what goal do you want to set? Okay, let's work towards that. You're here. I'm trying to put it in the nicest way.
I know you're going with that. You're spot on. And that goes back to what I was saying with a lot of myself and most other men that I've spoken with, is like going from a career to a job. If you've hit all the goals you can hit in the position that you're at, and processes have changed, book of business shrinks, your process of going about it that made you money, that made you successful, that made you goal-oriented, as you stated, because you're right, it was not taught to me at a young age. I had to learn that. I had to be self-taught on that. So I was goofing around with some software and programs. I ain't gonna say what, but making some music, because we're not sponsored by them. So make some music. But when we got into it, it was like some of the lyrics that I was writing, some of the combinations of play on words I was writing. Wake up to what? Wake up for what? Another paycheck to collect a check just to check out. So what? I was like, yeah, it was funny the time when I wrote it, but I realized I'm actually speaking to myself. And I don't think a lot of men openly will bring that up. So if you put in the signs, if you notice those signs, you start feeling like, even if you have to drive to work and you can't even calm down by the time you drive to work.
Oh, road rage.
Not even just road rage. You just feel that anxiety by the time you get to the parking lot. Like, this is what it's become. That's when you really got to have a self-reflection with yourself. Like, what do I need to do for me to make that change?
Yeah, I was going to go in that direction. I'm like, okay, great. Now we have defined what the challenges or the issue is. So from your perspective, what do you think the solution is?
And we talked about those times. We learned at a very early age in our relationship, if you have two people going two different directions, you're not going to accomplish those goals, because you, in the relationship, in a sense, are technically tug-of-warring between the two. Versus, this is again going back to sacrifice. And I'm saying this 100% for everybody. I'm just saying this is what you and I agree to. It makes more sense for one of us to back up the other to get that going, and then pivot to the other's idea if that's still strong and still wants to do that. Once one is successful and there's income coming, you're able to go ahead and be your own boss, your own business, your own entrepreneur. Especially after multiple failed attempts that both you and I've tried, because we've had a lot of failures in our belt. It makes more sense for me to be, a term they use was like, in the rowboat,
I was thinking of the rowboat analogy where it's like
You're
you
up
have two
front
people.
guiding the way. I'm in the back providing and I'm tired and I'm beat. But that's where like my solution is. Stick it out a little bit more, but at the same time, I also need to apply and look for something else. But this is where the fear kicks in, because I've seen it with you. You apply with something else, and then it's all you get that brand new shiny feel, especially if it's a good fit for the first 90 days. And then this, which you've been working for so many years,
My own business.
fizzles down again.
Yeah. Because I get distracted.
There you go.
That's really what it is. I hate to say I'm hesitant to be applying for these jobs, but I'm still putting them out there. I'm still getting multiple hundreds of rejections. But it's one of those situations where it's like, hey, are these jobs truly distracting me from what I'm not necessarily destined, but like it's what my ambition of, yay, I prayed for, I wanted to have more time with kids, I wanted to have my own business. I've always wanted to be my own business owner since I was a child. Now I have the opportunity in front of me. Let's get this moving forward. Which, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and put my Kickstarter right here. Please support it if you can, or even subscribe this video and watch our other ones as well. That would be a huge support. But that's where I'm at right now, where it's like I'm focused on my projects with my business, getting the designs out, getting this one major project, hopefully to push through for a major product.
So again, I think it's a great conversation that people should have internally, because even though we've been together for 17 years, this still comes up and I don't have an answer for it. And I think that's the key thing. I think a lot of men don't accept the fact or want to admit to the fact that they don't have the answers. And that's okay. Not giving up, you're on the right track. Outweigh the situations of talking with your spouse, even on a public situation like this. Though normally this would not be public, so I'm laughing at you calling me out. But I don't have the answer to it right now. But I have some ideas. And that's the thing, I just got to try them. And we are going to be trying them. But it's, again, how do you overcome being mentally tired to where it's like your body is so fatigued, like you ran 10 miles?
So bottom line is health is important and burnout is real.
Yeah, I would say this is definitely burnout. And I've been doing it for 5 years. We've afforded a lot of things we weren't able to do prior. We've knocked out a whole bunch of debt because of it.
So there's a lot of positives to it, but bottom line is if your health is not there, the job doesn't mean anything. What is that phrase? It's like you either, I'm horrible with phrases. It's either something along the lines of you're either going to be paying extra for the good healthy stuff, or you're going to be paying to go to the doctors or something like that.
But at the same time, the stressless you take with your company, even if you have a great position, even if you think it's a career, and again, you recognize career going to job, it's not worth it at the end of the day.
So how do we want to end this? Because now I'm trying to wrap it up.
I don't know, but I think it's a good thing just to put it as an ending that sometimes you won't get the questions answered right away. You just have to be aware of it and keep trying to figure it out. I think that's the way I could end it on today. That's really where I'm at.
And subscribe. And hopefully, because every time I say and subscribe, it cuts out the word like when I'm editing. But definitely, if there's topics that you would like us to discuss or hear us talk about, put it down in the comments. And definitely appreciate it. Bye.